Hello and welcome to MFCP Woodworking. Today we're going to continue our series of 2x4 turnings. We're going to a little simple project which leads to bigger projects. Always they lead to bigger projects, but I like to start simple here. We're going to be turning what's called a bud vase or a weed pot or a stick vase. They got a lot of names. Basically what it is a little dry vase, not very big. It's got a drilled hole in it and it's turned whatever shape you want, so you can put a little flour in it or a little something. It's meant to be dry. You're not supposed to put water in them because it'll swell the wood up, but they can be made out of other materials too. But we're going to make one out of wood. Specifically, we're going to make one out of 2x4s. First, we need to cover some basics here. I have two pieces of 2x4 here, and like I did last time, I'm going to have you zoom in and take a look at the end grain of this wood. Okay, the reason being, last time I showed you that and I didn't tell you why. Okay, today I think I better tell you why. These ones are not taken from the center of the tree. The one that was in the last video, the one in the candy bowl, was taken from the middle of the tree. It's important when it comes to expansion and contraction. When we glue these together to be a big spindle, they're going to be glued face to face, but it's important to glue them cup side to cup side so that if there's a gap in the middle. This way when you glue it together, the edges don't open up with humidity. If you have that center configuration where you've got right the middle of the tree in that board will swell in the middle with excess humidity, and it could open up your glue joints on the edge. And that's happened to some of my stuff. That's my experience. But if you choose pieces that are not cut from the center of the tree and you glue the cupped sides together like that, it will never open. Which is, I think you want quality work. Sometimes it doesn't make any difference if you're doing something turned down, very thin sides. It's not a big deal, but with this project it will probably make a difference, especially if you live in an extreme humid area like that. Once you've glued your pieces together to make a thick spindle like this, you're going to do like I do, save your tools, cut off the corners. Okay, then you can mount it in your machine. This is longer than we need for one bud vase, but I'm probably going to use the rest of this to turn another project. Okay, probably next week's project, or part of next week's project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the shop now. We're going to mount this into the machine. Oh, before we do, I forgot something. One thing that's helpful if you do not have a Jacob's chuck on your lathe, this is a useful tool. Basically what it is a drill bit, which I bought from the dollar store. It's 5/8 of an inch. And I turned a handle for it, drilled a hole in the handle, and epoxied the handle on. I've got this tool, and I will use this to make the hole in the vase, to make the place where the plants go in. We're going to do that now. Now let's go and mount this into it. This should not take long, because I already pre-pounded everything in position. Just make sure I'm clearing my tool rest. Make sure your tools are sharp. And you can start with a roughing gouge to rough this up. As you can see, it's coming along. It's not quite there yet. Right now I'm using a skew. One thing I don't like about this particular blank that I cut is that it's a little bit longer than my tool rest. And the temptation is to go beyond the edge of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this another little sharpen. Okay, because I didn't sharpen them beforehand as much as I thought. doing right now is I'm making tenons on 2 pieces here so that I can attach it to my chuck when I'm done. Basically, I'm going to part this off now. I saw the rest of the way through with a handsaw. That'll make 2 blanks for me to put into my machine, my chuck. But I'm gonna saw it off here. Recording again. I usually start cutting. First thing I would do is I want to cut that all off because I don't really need it, and see how badly this is chipping, because I expect a certain amount of chipping with this kind of wood, and I've got some there. That was expected. This is pretty bad. This particular blank has been sitting around for quite a while, and to let you know that's not a real good idea. I would use them as they're ready. I wouldn't let them sit around for a long period of time, which is what we did with this one. That's okay. Get a little closer here. Less vibration will mean that it'll chip less. It'll take very light cuts to get it right. You can see what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to make kind of a trumpet kind of opening. We're going to bore down through the center of that. I'm trying to trim this close, a nice fat round base, and I'm building a kind of pedestal base for it. I'm just taking a little bit of time on that. I don't want to cut too aggressively in the end here because it can knock the whole thing out of balance. Now I bowl that in first before I drill my hole. I've seen a lot of other people do this online and they seem to have no trouble keeping their drill point in the center. I've had it go off a little bit, and then it's in the hole, and when it comes out, it's off center, and that's not what we're looking for. You adjust your tool rest as you need support. Now we're going to see how much sanding we need to do on it. As I expected, it's not that bad. I am going to have to adjust my tool rest here. This is a special tool I showed earlier. Gouge here and we'll make this nice and smooth. Now we get to sand it. Now when I'm working with 2x4 material, I start off pretty heavy. I'm using 60 grit sandpaper. And this is a used piece, so I'm not going to make as good progress as I'd like. Most of the chips off, but I don't want to lose my detail. Not entirely, anyway. Let's see where we're at on this, because it looks pretty good. Yeah, there's some bad stuff there I want to sand down. One of the reasons why I use the coarse grit is because it can clean up a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the chips and stuff you get when you're working with this kind of wood. I've been using an old piece of sandpaper. Yeah, I've got something there. I just don't want to go get it right now. Basically, I'm going to do this at 60 grit until I'm satisfied with it. Then I'm going to sand it with 180 or 150, depending what I got. Then to 240, then to 320. I don't go past 320. There's a lot of people will, because you want to take a lot of the cross off us, but I think this is actually looking pretty good. If you take a good look at it, it's actually turning into a pretty nice piece. And it's got a little bit of a flake here and there, but that's not a big deal. So I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to just put an oil finish on it, and I'll show you when I'm done. Well, we finished our little bud vase. This is actually the biggest one I've ever made. I usually make them smaller. I usually make them out of other materials. This one, the line where the glue joint is rather distinctive because there was discoloration of at least one of the pieces of wood. If you use brand new pieces or pieces that are very clean, it's usually not that distinctive. I like this one though. The coloration is nice. Grain patterns all over the place. It's not bad. And it's not that hard to make. You can see it just takes some time and some effort. So that's it for this this episode of Turning 2x4s. I will make more. Probably make another one next week. If you liked the video, by all means please subscribe, hit your notification bell, comment, tell me what you think. Also remember that my cameraman here who's been helping me out, Amy too, he does some neat stuff. We take walks and stuff together, and those don't end up on this kind of a channel here, but it's worth watching. So go ahead and give him a look. If you like his stuff, give him a subscription too. He's a big help for me. So that's it for until next time. Thank you for watching.